Locked in solitary confinement after losing phone privileges. In this week's Sunday edition story, WDRB's Emily Meir and Jason Riley take us inside solitary and investigate why it's the only option for some inmates.
When Louisville inmate Holly Snyder allegedly called her boyfriend from Metro Corrections, asking him to drop a domestic violence charge against her, she violated a no-contact order. Snyder's phone privileges were taken away. Because of the infraction, Snyder spent the next 3 weeks in solitary confinement.
And to hold her in solitary while this case is pending in the grand jury, I think is extremely unnecessary, especially in light of the charges.
That's what attorney Sarah Clay said during a June 8th hearing in front of Jefferson District Court Judge Erica Williams.
I think it's overly harsh.
Williams agreed, saying she only learned recently that Metro Corrections puts inmates in solitary confinement when their phone privileges are taken away. The judge called the issue a problem, but not something she could solve immediately. Single cells are designed mainly for inmates who are violent or have mental health issues. Metro Corrections officials say solitary confinement is a last resort.
Very recently, we have changed our protocol on that. We are going, if there is a court-ordered phone restriction, we're going to repetition the court to see if we can't get that phone restriction lifted.
Metro Corrections Director Mark Bolton says segregated units are his only cells where female inmates can't access phones, but has come up with a solution for male inmates, an 11-bed cell that allows them all privileges except phone calls. This is what a single cell looks like. It's one of many that has been closed down. There's basically just a bed, a desk, and a toilet. In isolation, an inmate is locked in a concrete cell like this one for 23 hours a day. There's a nationwide push to keep more inmates out of confinement, and Bolton says he's reduced the jail's solitary beds by 40% since April.
Data suggests that there are long-term mental health impacts associated with that.
Advocates across the country say solitary confinement can be a destructive, brutal, and expensive punishment that can cause long-term damages.
WDRB.com reporter Jason Riley and I got a rare look inside a segregated unit at the Green River Correctional Complex in Muhlenberg County. The cell is similar to a local solitary unit, but surprisingly, it's a little bigger. It has a bed, a sink, a toilet, and a small window. Inmates are allowed 5 books at a time and are given a blanket and a pillow. They have a call button to talk to an officer if they have an emergency. Meals are delivered to them 3 times a day. Officers make random checks every half hour, and mental health evaluations are also given.
We're not just showing up in the building, we're actually walking down each range like we did, looking and talking to each inmate.
Deputy Commissioner of Adult Institutions for the Department of Corrections, Jim Irwin, says they've been working with the National Institute of Corrections to change how they use segregated units. He says studies show time spent in segregation can be detrimental to inmates. That's why they're trying to decrease the time inmates spend in solitary. In the last 5 years, Kentucky's 13 prisons have cut the average time inmates stay in solitary confinement from 67 days in 2011 to 29 days last year. That's a 57% decrease according to state records.
It actually gives the inmate hope that they will be released from segregation and go back to a general population. Gives them some coping skills to be able to do that.
And that was Emily Meir reporting. WDRB.com reporter Jason Riley writes more about this topic, plus a step-down program being used to help inmates transition back into general population. That story can be found on our website.